welcome to an Easter long weekend, Good Friday afternoon / evening
Heart to heart.
heart to heart. So long weekend ahead.
Yes, a nice long weekend.
And something very deep to talk about. Something that's also very dear and very deep to us. Enough that we've been, I think, somewhere in this since the last 2 days, in fact, without even realizing it. And then this morning, we realized that what's really happening is some of this. So what is this that I'm constantly referring to? What we're going to talk about today is expectations and what to do with them, how to deal with them, because it's a normal, natural thing. When you are born, you're born to parents, you're born into a family, you grow up, you have friends, you have teachers, then you get a job, you have bosses, you have colleagues, you have friends, you have significant others, and then sometimes a whole lot of non-significant others also. And what do you receive most from most people is do this, do that, become like this, become like that. Wouldn't it be nice if you could do that also? Wouldn't it be nice? Why can't you? So they come in various forms, right?
Yeah.
Expectations.
So we call them expectations. So interestingly, when I see Samira, when Samira was born, I think I really wanted, to let her be. But since the day I conceived her and we got to know it's a baby, the expectations started building up, and then they were like,
And then everyone would say, "Ye kis pe jayegi? Will she look like her mom or will she look like her dad?"
prior to that, whether it's a girl
Or a boy.
So the moment I conceived Samira, I could see that kind of it's not only family, whosoever you meet. So it could be out of love, but that is how before even a child comes or incarnates onto the Mother Earth, it is
The
bombarded.
expectation setting already starts.
The expectations, they start, and then they just become
continue all the
incremental.
way till the time that you die. And sometimes even beyond that, why did he die this way? Couldn't he have died in a better manner? What was this? This is no death at all.
ये तो बहुत बुरी
ये बहुत बुरी मौत हुई, ये बहुत अच्छी मौत। यार मौत तो मौत है, वो अच्छी थोड़ी है।
Yeah, so we don't leave anything
Untouched
with our expectations.
with our expectations.
So today we wanted to just touch upon expectation and see how best we can deal with it. So it's a discussion on expectation, and in the end we'll give you a process to deal with it.
So now here's my question to you. Are expectations bad?
Okay. See, I'll not say it is bad or good. It depends on how the person at the receiving end is equipped or handles those expectations. So sometimes they can be good. I will not actually categorize them as good and bad. They are neutral. So now you have to be wise enough to understand, are you capable enough to meet those expectations, or you would just want to listen and park them somewhere and maybe look at them once you reach at that point in your life.
So what you're saying is that not every expectation needs to turn into a challenge for you right then and there.
Absolutely.
You have to use your own discernment and your own judgment also to see that whether this works for you at that moment or not. At the same time, not every expectation is illegitimate and wrong.
Yeah.
So you don't have to reject everything that someone says to you by saying, "You expect too much of me."
Absolutely. So the other thing also, we were reading that if people are expecting of you, it's a good thing. If they do not expect from you,
it's a really bad thing. Imagine if somebody
it means
would say,
you're not worth it.
"You know what? I have no expectations from you at all."
Yeah, so there is a negative sides to having no expectations.
So when
that's
people
it.
have expectations from you, pat yourself on the back because you're probably doing something
Maybe you're
right.
worth it.
You're worth it, and which is why people are saying, you know what, you see yourself at a certain capability level, I'm seeing you at a much bigger level.
And I think that happens with people who are close to us, or maybe even our spiritual teachers. They see the potential in you, which maybe at that point of time you cannot see because you are so engrossed with that, living in that now, that you are not able to see the bigger picture. And when somebody is expecting something much larger than you already are, maybe that can be taken as a compliment, or that can be taken as an opportunity to extend beyond your boundaries. And I think somewhere with every small step that I'm taking towards my healing practice, I'm seeing that kind of expectations coming towards me as well. So it is interesting that I'm doing this video because it is very close to my heart at this point of time. With every step that I'm taking, people have started having more and more expectations of me. So initially I was a bit inhibited, and I thought, एक तो मैं कर रही हूँ, and then there is like, we want to see it in a perfect way, you should look a certain way, you should say certain things. So in a way sometimes,
and believe me, for the last 2-3 days we've had enough conversations over this. We've done our own back and forth and our own manan chintan, whether individually, whether with each other. We've really thought long and hard about what to take, what to probably keep as a to-do and to park for some time, and what to not really
absolutely
look at.
So for now, the way I've started understanding is, yes, expectations can be categorized as something good, that is happening, maybe help you in the long run to explore the sides of you which even you are not aware. So it's a good opportunity to understand whether
Okay, now I have a very tantalizing question. You're going to like this one.
Okay.
What if someone expects something from you which you really don't want to do because it would mean realigning or changing yourself in a completely different way altogether? I'll take an example. Let's say that you're in a relationship with somebody who really enjoys clubbing a lot, likes to eat a certain kind of food, which perhaps you don't really want to, be. You don't stop the other person from eating it, but then you don't want necessarily to indulge in that. Alcohol, I know that. So interestingly, I am also the eldest sister to a whole lot of younger sisters, including cousins, and we're all quite close. So I remember my younger sister asking me this sometime around last year, when we were looking for rishtas for Anchal. She said, Didi, the thing is, every guy that I talk to, his first question is, do you drink alcohol? And now she doesn't. She's never felt the need to. She doesn't like it. She's not prejudiced towards the men who drink alcohol, but she doesn't really enjoy drinking. So, and she said, now I get to hear a lot from people saying, you must be a very boring person because you don't even drink alcohol. You don't. So she was like, how do I handle that? I'm beginning to doubt my own self. Am I doing the right thing or not by drinking alcohol, not drinking alcohol? What am I doing?
Okay, so
what do you do in a situation like that, where somebody has a certain expectation from you and it doesn't resonate with you on the inside?
Okay, see, the most beautiful way to go back to, is your internal GPS. That's your heart. So anything that doesn't feel good inside your heart, you should just chuck it. That's not going to serve you. So so what I talk about, like, emotions is energy in motion, and there are two kinds of emotions: love-based emotions and fear-based emotions. Similarly, you have to understand these expectations. Are they love-based, or they are creating a certain amount of fear within you? So are they fear-based? if they are fear based, just think, are they serving your higher good?
It took me almost a decade to start reducing weight and to come to a point where, you know, a lot of people now look at me and say, wow, you've really done wonders. And when we were discussing expectations, I realized this, that for a very long time, while I was still struggling to lose weight, it was because I would look at myself in the mirror and tell myself that, you know, I want to lose weight because the next time I go to a party, I don't want my friends to look at me and say that, oh my god, you've gained. Oh god, what have you done to yourself? Because I used to be thin, I used to be anorexic, and then I went bulimic, and then I'm normal now.
Mm-hmm.
So I used to get a lot of that, you know, I'd walk in, somebody would say, what have you done to yourself? Look at you. So I started looking at myself in the mirror and thinking, you know, why I want to lose weight? I want to lose weight so that my parents can tell me I look good, so that my friends can tell me I look good, so that my friends don't end up fat shaming me, so that my relatives don't end up fat shaming me and all. And a lot of fat shaming happens unconsciously also. All of last year, there was a shift in my own expectations from myself. I started looking at myself in the mirror and telling myself that, you know, I love myself. Because I love myself, I want the best for myself. So I want my body to now be at its perfect optimum weight, simply for sort of health reasons. And just because, you know, it's about expecting something from yourself because you want to see yourself a certain way, not out of fear, but because you love yourself. That's why. And so, the moment that happened, I started losing weight.
Yeah, so we don't even understand this. See, any change that you have to bring, in your life, if your aura is, is expanding and is lighter, it becomes easy to bring those changes in your body, with your body. But if your aura is compact
And shrinking.
you will not be able to, create a difference. Because your fat cells, if you understand, fat cells is your body's, you can say mechanism to feel secure. So they store in fat because they are somewhere insecure that food supply may be down. So what will we survive on? So they start, accumulating these fat within your tissues.
So fear or love?
Absolutely. So at any point of time when you are confused, whether this thing that is being said is fear-based or love-based, you just get back to your heart and listen and try to feel. Do you feel that, expansion in your aura?
Or do you feel
anxious and your aura shrinks?
Especially to all the young girls out there, the ones who are in their early and mid 20s. I know a lot of your parents would be doing a lot of rishta dekho and get married, which is also all right because it is a wonderful thing to do and it is the right thing to do also. And for some of you, it is perhaps the right age also. But you don't have to approach it from a point of view of fear. You don't have to look at it as something that you want to do because everybody else expects you to do it right then and there.
Yeah.
When you think about getting married, your heart should expand. You should feel happy about
Absolutely.
it. You should feel excited about it. You should look forward to that phase in life. You should look forward to meeting someone new and to aligning yourself with them and to try and understand what they are all about and whether you guys can build a beautiful life together. You should feel really happy and excited about it, not worried, upset.
In fact, that is for everything. Any major event that is coming in your life, you have to practice it. Any major event that is coming in your life, you have to understand whether it's creating a lot of joy, happiness and happiness in your life, or it is creating a lot of fear. So if it is creating fear, that means it's not serving your highest good. So drop it. No, not this way. Just this way.
We're running out of battery. We're just going to quickly plug this in. Humpty Dumpty. Now I know a lot of you expect our videos to also perhaps be perfect. Look what happened.
So yeah. Okay.
Yes. So, expectations. And also, again, I guess not all expectations are bad, right? So, if parents expect their children to do well in their exams, that's not really such a bad expectation, kids.
Not at all. See, but as parents, I'm sure most of you would be aware of what your child can do or can do.
So, now we come to the question of
Capability. Now the other thing is also there. You know, expectation with your kids. Most of the time, parents end up putting their unfulfilled expectations onto their children. Now that's a very, I think that has been like forever.
I think I never told you this, right? So, as children, my mother was very insistent that I was the first child. So my mother was like very, very insistent that I should become a doctor because she had that unfulfilled dream. Interestingly enough, and my mother's very successful in her field. She doesn't regret not going into medicine or whatever also, at least not on a conscious surface. She was a science student who had to leave biology because she couldn't handle dissection.
Okay, interesting.
So somewhere there was this entire thing that was there about Divya to doctor banegi. I want her to become a child. Now as I started growing up, it became very clear that my capabilities, my strengths lay in a completely different area. Now the advantage also of being a professor's kid is that professors are very good at analyzing your weaknesses and strengths. So my dad quickly figured out that she's not really cut out for science. So we should encourage her in a different direction, perhaps commerce and all. Now interestingly, my younger sister is almost a decade younger to me. So you know what happened when Soumya was born? Right from day one, we used to hear, Soumya will be a doctor, Soumya will be a doctor, Soumya will be a doctor. And as she started growing up, she also started saying, बेटा आप क्या बनोगे? मैं तो डॉक्टर बनूंगा. बेटा आप क्या बनोगे? मैं तो डॉक्टर बनूंगा. क्यों? She would have no answer to the cue.
Yeah, see,
by the time we got to class 10th and her 10th ended, she broke a bombshell at my house. Because all these years, she was parroting that I want to be a doctor, I want to be a doctor. In class 10th, she realized she really didn't want to do that. She wanted to take up commerce.
No, I think that this happens with a lot of students. In fact, when people hear my name, so the next question they ask, do you sing?
Also because your dad has that singing background, right?
So even if they don't know the background that I come from, they will first ask me, Beta, do you sing? Your name is Sargam. So I have to tell, okay, I do sing, but not that good. And then if they come to know that my dad is a singer and
by the way, I've heard
really
you
good.
Singing enough lories to Samira. You sing quite well. Stop.
Yeah, but now I'll tell you
interestingly.
So when I come from a background where my dad is a trained classical and light music singer, when I sing, somewhere I feel very scared
because you're benchmarking yourself.
Yeah, because I'm not that good as my father. So somewhere singing is very something I feel very hesitated to do. But then I had to work on my fear, and then I decided to, go on stage, and then I did sing, but not that good.
Stop saying it, Sargam. You sing quite well. So, coming back to the whole point of expectations. Now, something that I wanted to ask you about. When someone throws, say for example, when I throw a certain expectation at you, I expect you to do something. It also places a lot of responsibility on you, right? To match up to my expectation. But then shouldn't I also share in that burden of responsibility? What are my responsibilities as a person who throws a certain expectation at you?
Yeah, see, I agree to that. But most of the times, I think that is what we are lacking.
So can I be a mindful expectator?
That again depends upon how mature You are. So you will not find that kind of maturity, with with every person that you meet and has an expectation of you.
And if I wanted to develop that within myself, what all could I do? What should I be doing before I? So let's say there's a mental thought. So again, for example, I see my younger sister, and mentally I think that this is what I want her to do. Along with that mental thought, what should be my conscious thoughts about how can I be a better, person in terms of in terms of being someone who throws a realistic expectation. How can I make my expectations more realistic?
See, okay, so I'll give an example. In class 6th, in class 6th, I broke my collarbone, so I got a year off, kind of. So I didn't give my exams, and my sister, she had some issues with her studies. So I decided to help her out, and she was a naughty kid, and so I thought it was a good opportunity to help her out with her exams. But somewhere she didn't believe that because I'm ghar ka murgi, so she didn't believe that she can guide me that well. So initially she tried to she followed her friend's mom. She was like really considered very high in giving suggestions about what to study, what questions to study, what not to study, and she felt very comfortable with her. So she did one semester, that way, and she flunked in a couple of subjects. So the next time when her exams were there, she just completely entrusted me with her subjects and course, and somehow I took it as a great opportunity to tell my sister that no matter what, I just love you, and I can give you help out of a lot of love because I care for you.
So the first thing to do when you want to be a mindful, when you want to be someone who has a mindful and realistic expectation from someone else, is to yourself examine whether your expectation is coming from a point of love or from a point of fear.
Yes. So you can actually introspect, you can actually reflect on whether I'm saying certain things to a person and it feels good in saying it. If you feel that I'm sounding a bit like a critique, or I don't feel nice in saying that.
Understand where is it coming from?
Yes.
Is it coming from your heart? Is it coming from your ego? Where is it coming from?
So true. So absolutely. So
is it coming from a desire to show someone down, or is it coming from a desire to genuinely see them better themselves?
Right. So I think that would be a nice way to say. Are your expectations lifting people up,
or are they dragging them
down? Or are they just forcing them to go down? Feel powerless, feel worthless, feel absolutely
worthless,
dejected.
I don't want to use the word, but everybody's figured out.
Yeah. So I think that is the right way of understanding it. So how does the expectation make you feel? Is it you are empowering someone? If you are, then also instead of just giving the expectation, try to show the path.
So help
or
them
try to walk the path with them.
Help them a bit, guide them a bit, tell them these are a few things that you could possibly do and here's how I could help you. But don't just say something and leave it hanging in the air and then just say, okay, now pick it and run with it.
So I think that is very, very important, with expectations. You have to have that kind of, your expectation should be encased in lots of love. Lots of positive emotions when you're setting out your expectation towards people, and that will actually help people to feel more empowered. It will help people feel loved. So like we started with this saying that if people expect of you, give a pat on your back because that means you're worthy of those expectations. So good. So now when you're expecting your husband to bring flowers for you, or maybe speak very nicely to you,
so the husband should actually feel happy because it means that the wife thinks he's capable of doing these things. The moment your wife says that it's okay, it's fine, I have no expectations from you in this regard, understand that there is a door that's being closed.
Absolutely. So in relationships, I think expectations are really, really healthy, but you have to understand how you are projecting them onto the other person. So if that person is able to feel really nice, you're doing a great job. And if that person is somewhere, trying to cut corners or hide behind curtains, that means you need to really put them nicely.
Yeah, or you need to sit and have a heart to heart with them so that you can both understand where you're really coming from and where is
Absolutely.
this expectation coming from. Also, work on it together, help each other,
Absolutely.
build it up.
And sometimes what happens is, we are putting we are expecting silently, ओ ये तो आपको करना ही चाहिए था, ये तो कोई कहने की बात होती है, ये तो आपको समझ में ही आना चाहिए था. Sometimes because
don't make assumptions.
yeah, the thing is you have to have a very good heart to heart connect in order to communicate non-verbally. So if your relationships are not going great, verbal communication is the best way to tell the person, this is what I expect of you,
and this is how I feel.
Yeah, and this is how I feel, because at that time the distance between, energetically the distance between the two hearts is increased. So any non-verbal communication will not work, and then you can keep complaining and feeling sad.
You don't listen to me.
Yeah, the dishes were there and you just didn't see. I
अरे बोल दो भाई. Just
I
say it.
expected you to change the baby diaper, but you didn't. I expected my boss to remember my birthday, but he gave me extra work on that day. Or I wanted to go out for a movie, and my mother-in-law, she didn't
Accompany me to it.
Yeah, accompany or allowed me to do it. So sometimes you have to be verbally active in communicating what you are expecting. That's also very important.
So now, Sargam, I want to know this from you. I believe there is a certain process that you have in place for handling expectations, because you probably get a lot of them. Do you? You
Yes.
get a lot of them, right?
Yeah, so
Okay, and in fact, interestingly, so here I want her to talk a bit about this. So even before you talk to us about your process of dealing with expectations, tell me something about what it's been like for you. What have the expectations been like for you as a spiritual person?
Oh yes, so that's interesting, right? So for a spiritual person, so people expect that as a spiritual seeker, you should never be angry. How can you lose your temper? How can you feel low?
How can you feel upset?
How can you do this? How can you do that? And sometimes you have to tell that, okay, that is just a part of yourself. So as a human being, our astral body is constantly vibrating. So you are always, in motion. Emotions are in motion. So either you are on a high or on a low. You cannot be somewhere very stable. It's difficult. If people say, I am like this, I don't feel anything.
They're like highly evolved.
Yeah, which I doubt. Okay, so so you take time, in vibrating from high to low, and the amount of time that you spend gradually decreases with your spiritual practice. But it is not that it will never happen.
But people around you start expecting that there should be an instant result.
Yeah, so that doesn't happen, and you have to be really compassionate, and because everybody is fighting their own battles. So yeah, so people who are spiritual seekers or on the spiritual path also go through their own day-to-day life. So they have their family to take care, they have their
bosses to take care
profession to take care, and so but they don't get stuck in that forever. So it's not that they're going down, and one fine day they decide, oh, life is worthless. So they quickly rebound. So that is, and how much time do they take? Is it a spike or a wave? That depends on the maturity of the spiritual seeker.
Right. Yeah. So now coming back to what I was asking you to share with us, your fantastic 5-step process on dealing with expectations.
Yeah, so before that, one small thing that I keep coming up, I keep listening from different guests that I connect with for healing is their expectation of their own self. Sometimes
True.
sometimes your expectation from yourself is so high that no matter how good you are, you keep feeling miserable.
But is it bad to expect from one's own self?
Again, the same thing applies whether it is a fear-based expectation or is it a love-based expectation. So, for example, if constantly you're doing something and still you're feeling worthless,
then you have to examine your own self internally and see, am I
just
doing this out of fear? Am I doing this out of love?
absolutely. So, if you're not able to appreciate the good that you are, the good that you are doing, from time to time, you will end up feeling dejected. You will end up feeling really, really sad, depressed, and then you'll start expecting other people to boost you up.
Also, your own sense of where you really are. Is your own expectation from yourself realistic, or is it?
True. So see,
Let's say you're stuck in traffic, and there is an event that you have to reach to within the next half an hour. Are you being really realistic in your assessment of being able to reach there, or is it better to just let the other person know that you will be a little late?
Right. So I think that's
little things like that, I guess, and probably big things also.
Yeah. So all this, will really help. The process that I'm going to share is going to really help you in understanding your expectations from yourself as well as from the others. Whether to take it, whether to park it, whether to forget about it. So, it's a 5-step process. So, step 1, you have to understand where are these expectations coming from. So, whether it is an internal expectation or external.
So, is it coming from you?
Yes.
Or is it coming from your family, from your friends, from your neighbors,
society? Yeah. So, you have to first identify that. Expectations from yourself, should be on priority. And expectations from others, yes, they are on priority, but, they can still take time. The next step. Is it a love-based expectation or is it a fear-based expectation? Now, if it is a love-based expectation, so for example, your spouse saying you are doing these videos and I really want you to do it in a
very
impeccable,
good way.
Yeah, impeccable manner, and because you have that capability. Now, that could be a lot of love, being projected onto you. But this will help if that person is also helping you in setting that up. So, for example, the entire setup has been done by
Sargam. Yeah. And not just for this video, mind you, for quite a few of our previous videos, it is Sargam who ends up helping us with the camera angle, the lighting, sometimes even these little things that you see in the foreground and the background. There's a lot of effort that he puts into this.
Yeah, so
he doesn't just throw that expectation on her that do it in the right way. He actually helps us do it. He helps us set it up right as well.
So I think with the expectation, the other person has the duty of actually helping the person fulfill that expectation. So the third step is how does it make you feel? So first you identify whether it is fear-based or love-based expectation. Then understand whether it is creating anxiety, whether it is creating excitement, or whether you feel really passionate to work towards it. So this is something that you can internalize. So for example, so many students are giving their exams, board exams, and people come up to me and say, my son is having loose motions. There is an emotional breakdown. He is not able to absorb.
2 minutes.
Yeah, he is not able to absorb the course. So what should I do with him? Now this is interesting because if you understand, all these things are actually related with fear. The fear of performance. the fear of matching up to the parents' expectations. So you have to be really kind and gentle while projecting your expectations on your children, so that it doesn't become a performance anxiety for them. They can operate from a level of love, excitement. So that is the third thing. How do you feel about that expectation? The fourth thing, are you equipped enough? Can you handle these expectations? So for example, it could be that you are expected to sing, right, and sing a really nice song. And if with my dad, I've seen there he'll get students which are sent by their parents saying, इसको गाना सिखा दीजिए, and ये बहुत अच्छा गाना गाता है घर पे. And when my dad is sitting with them, he comes to know that actually the voice quality is not good. Now the parents have real huge expectations from their kids, as well as the teacher, that once the student completes the course, he is going to become a Lata Mangeshkar or a Shan or Arijit Singh. But you have to understand that there are certain talents that are blessed upon people, and yes, you might struggle to reach to a point where you are able to do it really nicely, but for some people that might not be their life path, right? So be kind to them. Now, so this was the fourth point. Is it aligned, or are you equipped enough to handle those expectations? Or if you're not, can you stretch beyond your boundaries, to get that kind of expertise? Now, the fifth step, or the fifth thing that you can evaluate is, does it align with your life purpose? So each of us has incarnated on the planet for a purpose. There is a fixed purpose for all of us, and sooner or later we will reach to that path. So you have to see whether it feels the right thing to do. So for example, if my dad had expectations of me that I would become a great singer, and had I been singing and then struggling with my life, I think that would not have been aligned to my life purpose. I was meant for something different.
Rohan, we won't be able to edit settings right away. So what you could probably do is, since we're seeing Messenger pop-ups, you can keep asking your questions on Messenger and we'll answer them right away.
Okay. Yeah. So you have to understand that whether it's aligned with your life path. So for me also, like I did my engineering, then I did my MD. I'm working with an IT organization, and I work with energy healing, and I thoroughly enjoy it, and it is effortless for me. So sometimes you get to know when you're putting less energy and getting great results. Maybe that's your forte. That is what you were meant to do, right?
Exactly. Also here, again, for a lot of women who are my age, there is always this expectation of relationship should be in a certain way, and then have a child, you must have a child and all. So I realized this, in fact, when Sargam and I were having our conversation about expectations. I realized this, that a lot of times these expectations are coming from the people around me. A lot of women my age are already happily married, successful in their relationship, settled. They had one child and they're planning for another. I am nowhere in that category anywhere. Not that I don't want to get there, but for me it's a process and I'm working towards that process. So when we were talking earlier, I realized this, that if I look at that expectation, now it's not that it's not an inner expectation. Of course, I also expect this from myself. But as of now, is it a bigger priority than a few other things? No. Secondly, not being able to fulfill that expectation for others and for myself, because remember I said this is of course my expectation from myself as well. um, is it stopping me from doing the things that really matter to me? It's not. I still end up doing so what matters to me these days? A lot of the spiritual practice that I am working towards. Does being a certain way at the moment and not being another way at the moment, does it stop me from doing my spiritual practice? No, it doesn't. Does it help or hinder in that aspect of my life? No, it doesn't. There are certain other aspects of my life that I am working on energizing. Does it have any impact on those? Actually, no.
See, I think.
So I'll pick it up. I will pick it up.
Yeah. See, there is no.
But not out of fear.
Okay. Interestingly, there would be people saying that you've reached a certain point, but there is a long way to go, right? So in life also there is a long way to go.
I want to talk about what Sargam said about this. Someone told her very recently that you're on your journey, but you have a long way to go, and she just smiled and said, I know, and I have all the time in the world to do it.
Yeah, so see, sometimes people might just make you hurry on your path, and they'll say, oh, I remember I was talking to her. So in Alice in Wonderland, you have this
There's
rabbit.
that white rabbit, the one with the hat and that little clock.
So this rabbit, always used to see in the clock and say, I'm late, I'm late, I'm late, I'm late. And interestingly, most of us, we feel the same way. So we are late for getting married, we are late for having children, we are late for getting a nice promotion, we are late for making it big, And
some people make it big in their 20s, some make it big in their 30s, some people make it big in their 60s.
Absolutely. So basically you have to understand there is no race.
Oh, I just realized this while you were saying this. It's like this, I guess, that are your expectations, internal, external, all kinds, are they making you chase life?
Yeah.
Or is life chasing you? Are you ahead of life, or is life running ahead and you're struggling to catch up?
And I'll say,
Which way is it?
don't follow either of this.
Exactly.
Just
be where you are.
So live in the present moment and live it so fully that you are just contented. So for example, at this moment, if we are doing this video and I keep thinking about the next video or my next course, or maybe what has to be cooked in the evening for dinner, or like in 2 hours my maid has to go, you can understand the kind of conversation we would be having on this live video.
So we'd be here and there and everywhere.
Yeah, so your thinking capacity or mental clarity gets obscured, and that is something you have to pay attention, I think, throughout your life. That don't be in a race, don't be in a hurry. There is time. Pause, appreciate, pay gratitude. Pat your back, enjoy the moment.
Someone said this, right? Do everything that you can to stay in the vortex of the present moment.
Yeah. So living in the now, I think Power of Now. That's a beautiful book by Eckhart Tolle. So yeah, the mindful presence, in all your conversation, mindful presence in expectations. That's the key. Be mindful. Be full of love. And I think we can wind this episode here, and we'll do our next episode soon. So
and also on expectations, it doesn't mean that this is the end of it. If you have questions,
yes,
we'd love to do a Q&A on expectations as well.
Yeah, we can do that. And Rohan, thank you for writing. I don't know, I have to check my settings why you were not able to comment, but you guys can comment in the comment section, and
please do write into us. Please do
send the messages,
because your questions are a lovely way for us to clarify and clear out our own inner thought processes as well. A lot of times we may be seeing things in a certain way, but then there comes a question which makes us reorient our way of thinking.
Right. And so shortly we'll be coming up with shorter versions of these heart-to-heart and Q&A, which will be called
In Shorts.
So stay tuned about that, and Thank you so much.
And
Bye.
Sargam's videos are now also available on Sargam's YouTube channel. So please go ahead, please subscribe.
Yeah.
The beauty of YouTube is that the videos are right there. You can play them as often as you want. On Facebook, you have to probably scroll down the feed list and look for a specific video.
Yeah.
On YouTube, the advantage is that they are all, they're all stacked, they're all in a particular order. You can just go and you can watch it as many times as you like. You can keep sharing it with friends and family as well.
Yeah, so that would be a great way of doing. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel, which is Sargam Mishra Heal Transform Evolve, and we'll share the link, in the comment box.
So thank you so much everyone. Thank you for taking out time on a lovely Friday evening.
Yes.
And I hope that everyone has a fantastic and perfect weekend ahead. I know that we're looking forward to this weekend too.
Yes, so happy Easter.
Happy Easter.
And Atma Namaste.
Atma Namaste.
Bye.
Thank you.